Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be working on valid palindrome. So it's a pretty straightforward problem, and a phrase is a palindrome if after converting all uppercase to lowercase letters and removing all alphanumeric, non-alphanumeric characters, it reads the same forward and backward. Alphanumeric characters include letters and numbers. So we want to say true if it's a palindrome, otherwise no. So in this case, once we remove all the white space and everything, this is a palindrome. This is not a palindrome. And this is a palindrome. So let's just look at how we would do this. So let's take race car really quick. Let's say we actually have the string with all the characters we want. So it's pretty straightforward to check for a palindrome. You literally just start at the last and the first character, and they have to keep being equal. And if they're equal, you keep moving them towards each other. So let's do that. So here they're equal. Now we move them towards each other. Here they're equal still equal. And here they're not. And so they have to be equal all the way until these two overlap, right? So race car is not, and this a man plane thing, I'm not going to write out the whole thing, but it is. And let's just take some other thing that's like a palindrome. I'll just make up a fake word like ear or something. So this would be a palindrome, right? Because these are equal, then these are equal, then these are equal. Now, our only challenge is how do we get rid of all non-alphanumeric characters? And we are actually going to, instead of getting rid of them, we will use a couple things. First, we will use trim to get rid of white space. So that'll get rid of all the spaces. But you could not even use trim. That would be totally fine. So you don't even have to use trim. But essentially what we're going to do is we are going to make a set of all valid characters. So we're going to have a set of every valid character, which is A through Z and 0 through 9. And also notice that we want all lowercase. So we're also going to make this string lowercase. So we're going to do trim, which will get rid of the white space. But you don't have to do that. But you do have to do 2 lower. So you can do 2 lower, and that'll convert everything to lowercase. Then we're just going to have a set of all valid characters. And, for example, let's say we have this rear. So if we have like re1, e3, 2, e7, e5, r. Let's say we have something like this. How would this work? This is also pretty straightforward. So we would literally check, are both of these characters valid? Yes, let's move them both forward. Are both of these characters valid? No, this one is not valid. So if it's a number, we don't care about it. So we're just going to move up the one that is invalid. So in this case, we would move up this one over here. Now we check, are these valid? Yes, so we can move them both forward. Are these valid? No, so we're just going to move one forward at a time. So let's say we move this one forward. Then we'll check, are these valid? No, this one's not invalid. So we have to move them. We have to move them over here. Now they are valid. Now they are both over here, and that'll be fine because they're on the same character. So that's pretty much it. You just take every character you want to ignore, and you just say, if it's not a valid character, I'm just going to move that up because I don't need a comparison. I'm just going to keep moving that. Like I don't care about it. I'm going to skip it. And yeah, and you just make a set. And the nice thing about a set is it is actually going to be over one space because we will only have 26 characters and 10 numbers. So it's only 36 characters, which is constant space. And that's how we're going to do it. There might be some like JavaScript or TypeScript function to check for alphanumeric, but that's essentially like one way to do it. Another way to do it, if you want to actually save space completely, is you can probably, I haven't looked into it, but you can probably get the ASCII value. And then the ASCII value, like let's say the ASCII value of A is like 24. You can just make sure it's in some range, right? 24 to like 49 or whatever the ASCII value for Z is. And then you could do it that way too, right? Because every character has an ASCII value, so in order for it to be A through Z, it has to be here, and then whatever the ASCII values are for numbers, you'd have to look at those as well, and you just make sure that the ASCII value for your characters is valid. And if you don't know what ASCII values are, you can just Google ASCII table of characters, and it will literally tell you. And there might be, like in Python, there's commands to change a character into an ASCII value, and I think in JavaScript, there's got to be something like that too, if you don't want to use a set, but we're going to use a set. So let's actually code it up now. So let's, yeah. So first we're going to trim it, and we're going to make it all lowercase, so we can do s.trim and 2 lowercase, and this returns a new string, so we have to set it equal to that. It doesn't do it in place. Then we are going to make characters. It's going to be a set of type string, and it will be a new set, and you can actually pass into a set a string, and it will break it down into a set. So we can just say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And we're going to have the numbers as well, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So that's our set. So essentially this will break it down into individual characters. Now we can simply check if our stuff is into the character. So we can say left equals 0, right equals s.length minus 1. And we can say while left is less than right, we are going to say if the left character is not in the characters, let's move the left forward, right? So if character does not have it, let's move it forward, right? So in a set you check for has, so if this is false, that means the character is not in there. Then we're going to move the left forward because we don't care about that character. Else if, same thing for the right. Not cares dot has s dot right. We are going to move the right forward. I think I screwed that up. Except we're not going to move the right forward, we're going to move it back, right? So we're moving the left forward and the right back because the right starts at the very end. Else, if s left does not equal s right, right? We check if they're both valid but they're not equal, then we want to just return false straight away. And then finally, we have our last condition where we want to be incrementing and decrementing, right? So and there we go. And essentially, when this while loop is done, we went through every character and none of it failed. So we can just return true because we know that everything passed. And we can try that. So let's talk about the time and space complexity now. And for the time, we are essentially, so this trim lowercase thing is going to be O of n because we're essentially looping through our string to do this. This is going to be O of 1, and then the loop is going to be O of n, so overall the worst case is O of n. And the space, the set is going to be O of 1 because it's a constant number of characters. This is going to be O of 1 as well because they're just variables, so this is going to be O of 1 space. One space, and yeah, you can see that it's, like I said, reasonably efficient. So yeah, it's gonna be it for this problem, and if you liked it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next TypeScript video probably tomorrow. So thanks for watching.